What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Making Podcasts Great Again. I am your tech stuff guy, Jay Nog, and we are here, of course, with the President of the United States of Mar-a-Lago, Mr. Donald J. Trump. Mr. President, happy Hanukkah. How are you?
Well, it sounds like somebody's making musical instruments with pots and pans. So happy harmonica to you too.
Happy harmonica. It's happy Hanukkah or Hanukkah, however you pronounce it.
Well, I pronounced it
Harmonica.
the official way, which is Danica Patrick.
Happy Danica Patrick. I never heard that one before. Did you celebrate with your daughter, with Ivanka and her husband and the family for Hanukkah at all, or no?
I celebrate. She always say, I love about Ivanka. She says, "Daddy," and I like it when she calls me Daddy. She says, "Daddy, the first night of Hanukkah is for you because you're like the big candle in the middle, and that makes my other big candle very happy." So
You're the Shamish.
It's who?
You're the Shamish.
No, I don't. I believe in electricity and things. I'm not Shamish.
That's the big candle. It's called the Shamish.
No, excuse me. You ever see that movie of Harrison Ford about the Shamish? And he goes there and Witness. It's called Witness. And he hangs out with Shamish people. No, there's no. You ever see Ivanka? Does she look Shamish to you? I don't think so. They would, they'd be building a lot more than barns if they saw her body. Sharing my butter, and I say that as a father.
Of course you do. What did you get your grandchildren for Hanukkah? Any cool presents?
Who?
Ivanka's children are your grandchildren. Did you get them any presents for Hanukkah?
Oh, that's no, because when you say Ivanka's children, I call them the twins. But you mean the ones that came out of her?
Yes, I mean those.
Strong pussy. I use the medical terms. It's called family. Okay, I don't.
Yes. I've heard doctors say she had a very strong pussy before.
I remember you getting me emotional because I don't like, excuse me, new tech stuff. I don't like to get too emotional early in the episode.
Yes.
Because we have to do strong podcasting. But I remember when Jared Kushner with his weak hands and arms, he was holding Ivanka's hand when she was having her first child. And I said to the doctor, and they said, "Sir, you don't want to be down there." And I go, "No, I would rather be right here." So I saw all the glory, and it was a strong to quite strong pussy. And she's a very talented woman. And it's, you have a daughter now, don't you? I've heard that you have a daughter.
Yes, I do have a daughter, but I definitely will not be doing that when she has childbirth.
Well, there's nothing like the love of a daughter by a father, and you'll appreciate that one day. But, it just so happens I was blessed and cursed to have a daughter that is so hot and so sexual and so, just built like a corporate porn star. It's like God looked down on me and said, "Sir," God called me sir.
Of course he did.
He said, "Sir, you deserve the best." And he gave me the best with the manga. So you meant the kids that came out of, downstairs. I thought, because I always say whenever I show up for a holiday at Ivanka's, I say, "How are the twins?" And she goes, "Very perky, Daddy." And it's good father-daughter humor.
So you didn't get him a gift, did you?
Oh,
okay. Mr. President, last week we talked about Kyle Rittenhouse and how if you would advise him, what would you tell him? And I feel like we're predicting the future last episode because Kyle Rittenhouse did come to Mar-a-Lago to visit you. Please tell us about the visit.
It was a great honor for both of us to be, obviously it's an honor for him as president, somebody of a strong role model. But I thought he's a brave young man. He's a talented young man, a great patriot. and he was defending people. He's everything we want in a young American man. And so we rewarded him, obviously, at Mar-a-Lago. Melatonin. She knows what she's there for. She actually gave him his first. It was a proud moment. That was his first blowjob. And I don't know if there's any, getting it from the first third lady. I don't know if there's anything better than that. So it was, and then, I mean, even I was a little jealous. I go, this is a little too much out of the gate. You're 18 and already you're getting strong first, third lady head. And then Roger Stone was there and he said, Kyle, would you like to meet my wife? And he invited Kyle to be lucky number 69 in the train, in the Roger Stone wife train.
Celebrate Kyle Rittenhouse.
Right. He was facing 68 years in prison. And so they let him be the 69th young gentleman to be with Roger Stone's wife that afternoon. So it was a great celebration for a great, talented young man. And we're very proud of him.
What was the conversation like? I mean, you guys are not very close in age. I'm sure I don't have many similar interests.
No, but we both speak on an 8-year-old level. So we it crosses generations when you speak in short, simple sentences. You just, I said, Kyle, hey, you. And he said, hello, sir. And then Melatonin walked in a see-through dress and he said, and I said, well, I know that feeling. And, we left them to it. So, we have great communication.
That's nice. Did you see your son retweeted you? So there was a picture posted of you and Kyle Rittenhouse, and then your son Donald Trump Jr. retweeted it and wrote the two goats. Now I can understand how you can be considered a goat, but why is Kyle Rittenhouse at the ripe old age of 18 or 17 considered a goat? Can you explain that tweet by
he murdered the people at 17 and then got away with it at 18. So, I think Don Jr., he means well sometimes. Usually he's a useless piece of shit. But I think sometimes he means well. And I think he was trying to offer encouragement to Kyle because, as you know, we don't have a fair criminal justice system. You know this. It's a very unfair system. You have blacks like OJ getting away with murder. And then all of a sudden you have somebody like Derek Chauvin going to jail, a police officer going to jail for murder. What sense does that make? So when Don Jr. sees Kyle Slaughterhouse, he goes, Don Jr. is sort of stupid, but he had a point, which was, oh no, this country's always throwing white people in jail for murder and letting blacks walk free. Between OJ and Derek Chauvin, it's a totally rigged system. So we were nervous for Kyle. So to see Kyle get proper justice, nobody expected that. Nobody. Everybody just assumed it was going to be another in a long line of racism from this country, the radical left justice system that favors African Americans so much more over white men. That it was a relief. And Don, you've been dying to get on the pod. Okay, Don Jr. wants to say something. Can he?
Wait, you're gonna let your son come on the podcast right now?
It's it's. Then I don't have to give him a Christmas present or something. The kid, he's just total loser. He's fucking Kim Gargoyle. Like, even I have a heart sometimes.
I would love to speak to Don Jr.
Hey, tech stuff. What's up, bro? Brosif guy. You ever heard that one? Bro stuff guy, Brosif. Tech Brosif. What's up, Brosif Tech?
Okay.
Brosif Tech. That should be like a school that plays Idaho Militia Christian. Like, what's up? It's Brosif Tech and the homies. Yeah, but that
Yeah.
sounds like maybe that's like a black school or something. I don't know, but I'm just so excited. You're talking about my like totally awesome tweet, right? My like very
Yes.
cool post about like the two goats. Because there's so much talk
Are you okay?
about it just some of the old, how do I say this for the kids, some of the old cocaine up my nose. But so it's like, I'm always watching like people talk about the GOAT, like they're like Michael Jordan or LeBron, also known as LeBitch James. And they're like, who's the GOAT? And I'm like, I don't know, the GOAT of China? Like the GOAT of China is LeBron James because he's like always kissing China's ass. He's like Hunter Biden, except like even scarier because he's like a 6'10", like black dude from, you know, Akron or something. So like he's not a goat. He's a Chinese, like he's a poo-poo platter of Chinese propaganda. He kisses the ass of China. And but I thought it was important because like my dad is like, he's awesome, right? You like get to work with him. How cool is your life that you get to work with like my dad, who's like
Yeah,
the
I think I spent
coolest.
more time with your dad in the last couple of years than you spent in your whole lifetime.
Like who I get it, like I was using my dad's line because like he says that about me all the time, right? Like it's so cool. It's like how he pretends not to know me or do anything with me. It's like like it's fine. It's like one of the cooler, like if my dad like knew who I was and hung out with me, like he wouldn't be as cool as he is. Like remember the Fonz tech stuff? Did you ever see like Happy Days?
I've seen it, but it was a little after my time. Yes,
Well, do you know who the
before my
Fonz
time.
was? He was like very
I know
cool.
who he is, but it was reruns when I was growing up.
Well, that's like, how old do you think I am? Tech stuff. I'm like not old either. So anyway, like the Fonz was like the coolest guy, but he didn't like hang out and wasn't everybody's buddy. He was cool because he like, it was like scarcity, Bitcoin, which I'm getting very into, and not because of Scaramucci, who totally turned on my dad, and we don't like him anymore. But it's like my dad, if he was around, hasn't he told you this parenting philosophy, which is like
Hmm.
leave the kids alone and then show up when they're like 25 and you're on your third wife, and then like offer them jobs? Like, how cool is that as like a
Very
parenting
cool.
technique? So like he's not a tiger mom. He's like a absentee cool dad. And so basically, I just thought he's definitely a goat, and I was trying to be cool. Like, my dad was hanging out with Kyle Rittenhouse, and I've never even gotten to hang out with my dad as long as Kyle Rittenhouse got to hang out with him. So I was like, well, this guy must be like super cool because he's like, it's like he must be like a goat to hang out with my goat dad. So like, I'm just like really happy, and like it's so cool to be in the studio with my dad. And Kimberly couldn't make, well, sometimes Kimberly hangs out with my dad, and I'm like, who am I to say no to that? Like, that's my dad. He's the goat. So I'm gonna go see and make sure that my dad's not having sex with Kimberly right now. But thanks for having me on Tech Stuff.
No problem. Thank you for coming on and having a discussion with me or giving your TED talk. I appreciate that, and I hope to have you on soon. Maybe hopefully your dad will let you host a bonus
No,
episode.
no,
That'll be a lot of fun.
he's already gone. Thank you for that break,
Uh,
Tech Stuff. I just gave Kim Gargoyle a little bit of 45, if you know what I mean. I call it Formula 45, right in the keister, right in the Kimberly keister. That's what we call it.
your son was very, very talkative. Not really a discussion. He just kept talking and talking and talking. It might be the drugs he's doing. I'd be concerned if I was a parent.
Well, you know what? And if I was a parent, I'd be concerned as well. But I would say that, some radical left therapists, okay, like, they like to say they do therapy. They might say, oh, Don Jr. talks so much because nobody paid attention to him as a kid and he needs attention. And I think that's so stupid. I think it's the other way around. He talks so much, so nobody wants to pay attention to him. I always tell him he should shut up, but, he doesn't listen. It's a total disgrace. But, family's important.
You, do you think he could host a bonus episode one of these days?
I mean, I miss, I could, I could hear him talking because he's very loud and fast paced, but I was trying to, focus more on Kimberly's keister.
Mhm.
I knew he would talk to you for like 4 or 5 minutes, and that was just enough time for me to defile his crazy girlfriend.
Okay.
And it is the way he talks so loud, it's kind of enjoyable because you're cucking your own son because you can hear him talking in the next room. So it was kind of exciting. Kimberly liked it. I can tell you that. That I can tell you. She enjoyed it very, very strongly. But I don't know if would you want him to host? I mean, he just talked your ear off for four
Yeah, I mean, I
minutes.
don't know if he'd be the best host. Actually, he doesn't listen very well. So I don't. Maybe just guest appearances once every 2 years. I think would be fine. Cool.
Oh,
Okay. Exactly. Yeah. Mr. President, COVID came to this country when you were officially president, and many variants have came from COVID. It's the virus is mutating because lots of people won't get vaccinated like yourself. And now there's a new
no, no, no.
variant.
Excuse me. No, no, no. That's not what they're doing.
Well, the doctors have said if people would get vaccinated, all these variants wouldn't happen.
Who are you gonna trust? Doctors or podcasters?
Hmm. Wouldn't have to go to doctors on this one.
The typical radical left sort of answer. It's no, the variants happen because other countries aren't as strong as us. We don't have the variants. Where's
Not
the,
yet. It's right. People, doctors and scientists are saying that the variant could possibly be in our country right now. It's just too small to know.
well, that's why we need to build the wall. But the
Keep out the
ish,
variants.
illegal variants, okay, it's called illegal variants. But no, my point was you don't have any. If we're not creating variants, they're coming from other countries. We're doing
Correct.
fine. What we Because I can tell you, Florida, the great state of Ron DeSantis. You don't think there'd be a Florida variant by now with the way they live their lives?
What do you think this new one, the Omicron variant?
Well, it sounds African American, if we're being honest, and it came from Africa.
That's all you have to say about it.
It's very scary. I think they
Mhm.
finally named it right, Omicron. Look out, Omicron's coming.
You think that fits a variant from Africa calling it Omicron?
I think it sounds African American, and I think what it went back for like a trip to the motherland or something. It decided to get back in touch with its African roots so it could become even stronger. And now it's coming over, and when it gets to America, it's probably going to be the Kunta Kinte variant.
They're gonna change it once
And then
it comes to
the
the United
radical
States.
left is going to give it a mini series to make white people feel bad. Like, look, it's the Omicron Kunta Kinte variant, and it's killing everybody. Oh, it's so sad. Roots.
Um, your future wife was in the news again. Miss Boebert was in the news. Did you hear about this?
Did I hear?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, did I hear? I played it as melatonin serviced me. That was the soundtrack of our lovemaking. Was the sweet sounds of little Boebert's racism, and it was very erotic.
Yes. Well, she was going into an elevator where Representative Ilhan Omar was, and she is um, a Muslim woman. And as she enters the elevator, she goes to the Secret Service person. She doesn't have a backpack. We will be fine. Um, which I think is very funny if you're doing that to one of your friends who is Muslim, who you're buddies with. That's a funny joke. But saying it to someone who um, is borderline racist, it's hard to take that as a joke. And she did apologize to Rep. Ilhan Omar and Muslim people for her anti-Muslim remark, What are your thoughts on her remark, and what are your thoughts on her apology? Because we know you're not into apologies.
Her apology was a fake one, and I know it. She actually DM'd me to say, "Sir, that was just an apology to fool the media." And it was more one of those, it was one of those apologies that's secretly not an apology. It was one of those, if they got offended, I'm sorry, which I always like, because she's not sorry. She said it. She made that joke. But Lauren Boebert continues to impress me. It's like, okay, you're cute. Okay, you're a little thing. You wear these nice heels. You got a nice little rack on you. You're stupid. You have guns. Okay, I'm sold. I'm in. I'm in. And then you say racist things, and all I can think is, oh, you've got a dirty mouth. If you're saying racist things, I wonder what you do with that dirty racist mouth when you're not in public.
Okay.
I think the Boebert gets the yogurt, if you know what I mean.
I but I don't think you would ever apologize as a joke, as a just kidding. Would you ever do that?
The last time I apologized was at Penn.
You remember the date?
I only apologized once because I had taken a test and took it so quickly and aced it so quickly while everybody else was sitting in their chairs that I looked and I said I was one woman. She had very big breasts and she was, I think, interested in me. So I looked at her and I said, I'm sorry, I'm very smart. And left because I didn't want her to think, to be insecure. I wanted her to be insecure enough to have powerful sex with me, very filthy sex later
Mm.
that night, but not insecure about her academics. I wanted her insecure, like, oh, my father doesn't love me. I should go have sex with that tall, blonde Donald Trump tonight, but not about the. So I apologized that one time for doing so strongly on a test.
Okay. Was it a real apology?
It was because her breasts were very big, and I really did want to have powerful sex with her. So I meant it. It was a genuine apology.
Okay. Well, congratulations.
And then later that night, when the condom broke because I'm so strong, I didn't apologize then. That should tell you it was a genuine apology. She said, "Sir," she said to me, "Sir," in the dorm room, "Sir, I think the condom broke." And I said, "You're right." And then I left, and I don't know what happened to that woman.
What a gentleman. uh, Mr. President, one of your, let's say, enemies is stepping down from his CEO position.
We're done talking about Boebert.
I don't know, you wanted to continue to talk about her.
I just like Boebert.
I understand. We can go back to her. I mean, I just
What's not
wanted to
to
thought about
what's
you had
but what's
about
not
her
to like?
apology.
No,
No, I know. I just thought you would.
excuse me. And now you're being rude. You interrupt me. Bad enough. You interrupt me when I'm talking about little Boebert. Real bad. But I think, I just think that there's real potential there. I think she's cute. She carries guns. She's stupid and she's racist. That's what we call a quadruple threat in the escort game.
Well, I know we were going to have the dating game for you, but the Eppies are.
Oh no, we're not. And I thought we discussed this off mic. Dating game is for radical left cocks. We do the raping game.
The raping game. My apologies, but
think of the ratings. Now it can't be on, basic, it can't be on ABC.
no, only
But we-
Patreon. I understand.
We get that on
paywall.
Netflix. We get that on Netflix.
Mhm.
We get that on, Brazzers is a company that I think is doing strong things.
Mm-hmm.
The raping game. It's like the dating game, but without all the bullshit.
That should be the. That's the line for it.
they sign a waiver, of course, so there's implied consent.
Yes.
We're not doing, this isn't some sort of Taliban type game. It's
Yes.
it's a respectful Christian raping game.
We can maybe rethink of the title, but sort of a game
No, no,
show
no,
where
excuse me.
okay,
No, we're not.
we will not
That's the
rethink that. It
title.
will be the raping game, and we will do our best to find women who would like to be in the raping game to compete for Mr. Donald J. Trump.
I tell you, it's going to be tough because I'm so handsome and talented. It's like I get consent no matter what. Like it's sort of embarrassing. Like I'm like, where do I get my fetish if every woman is like, sir, you're so handsome and talented. I offer you strong consent. And I go, nope, pass.
So eye contact is consent.
Right. When I contact them, it's consent.
Okay, that's what I thought. Um, we are having the Eppies coming up next month, and we will probably most likely do the raping game in January or February because
Oh,
we
yeah.
have to.
Excuse me. You're saying it with a P. No, no, no. Rating with a T. What the hell is wrong with you, tech stuff? Excuse me.
It's. I thought you said raping game.
No, no. Rating.
Okay.
Rating with a P.
I was going to say it would be hard to find contestants for the raping game, but the rating game we might be able to find contestants
With
for.
a P. With a P.
So it's rating with a P. I got it. Okay. So it's the rating game with a P. Hopefully we'll find contestants and have that in January, February. But everyone out there, listeners, the Eppies are coming out. We are having the live Eppies for the Perfect 10 Patreon Patriots on December 23rd, 8 p.m. Eastern for the Eppies. It is a black tie affair. Categories and voting will be going online shortly, and also posts be going up for you to list your favorite episode, favorite guests, favorite catchphrases of the year. In order to catch the Perfect 10 Eppies episode, patreon.com/MPGA. We will also have a bonus episode in December. The bonus episode that month will be the announcements of the categories and who is nominated. And it will most
Hosted,
likely,
excuse me.
I was going to get to it. Hosted
Well,
by.
no, excuse me.
Okay.
I'm going to get to it.
All right.
Excuse me.
I just breathed. You could tell my breath.
Excuse me. It will be hosted by the Mikes. Mike Lindell and Mike Pence will be, like, remember how they used to do Tina Fey and Amy Poehler hosting the Golden Tits?
Yes.
Well, we're going to have Mike Pence and Mike Lindell doing the announcements with a tech stuff, whoever they send over from the tech stuff office. But that will be next week. There will be the sort of strong nominations announced. Then people will get to vote. But basically, if you join the Perfect 10 this month, you can spend the whole month catching up on years of bonus content, and then you can join live for the biggest show of every year. Like we did the first one last year. It was the biggest hit of the year.
We'll have guests for the show. It's going to be amazing.
Right. So if you're a supporter, if you're a supporter of this show, and you don't join the Perfect 10s, at least for this month, and maybe you're sick with it. Maybe you say, oh, this is the greatest Patreon on the planet. Then what the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing if you don't join the Patreon Perfect 10 this month? Now, if you're a totally poor radical left loser, okay, you join for $5 and you get a taste of it. And you'll probably like the taste. And, like Boebert, you'll go for the whole yogurt.
And you can become a member of the Perfect 10 by joining the Patreon, patreon.com/MPGA. And that is the Perfect 10 level to hear the Eppies. And like Mr. President said, join. You can catch up on all the former Perfect 10 episodes and all the bonus content that you missed out on the last few years. So again, that's patreon.com/MPGA. And look for social media this week. We will be asking questions, and you can send in your opinions for the Eppies for 2021. Mr. President, I was getting to before, an enemy of yours, Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, is stepping down and being replaced by Parag Agrawal, who's going to be the new CEO. What are your thoughts on this? Do you know Parag, and do you think you can get on his good side to have your Twitter account back?
Okay, well, Party Superstar, I think, will be a better CEO than Jack Dorsey.
Party superstar, Parag Agrawal, party superstar.
Party Superstar is, he sounds like a talented guy, and he's probably, a lot of these guys, when they come up through business and tech, they're a little smarter than the guys who found the company, because the guy who founded the company, they always think they're like more important than they are. It's like, you did a website. You're not a religion. You're not a president. You did a website, a nice website that, eventually turned radical left and is a total disgrace. But, I think Prego meat sauce is going to be probably better. If I'm being honest, I know he doesn't sound American at all. He sounds like he's from, Eastern Europe and India at the same time. But I think he might be even a lot better than Jack Dorsey. You can't do much worse than Jack Dorsey. So, I wish RuPaul's Drag Race the best of luck running Twitter. And if he wants to let me back on the website, maybe I'd join. And I think he'd see his website doing a lot better than it did under radical left Jack Dorsey. So, best of luck, pre-com Agarwal.
Well, pre-come Aragorn, I wish you luck as well. Party Superstar, I wish you luck also. And Parag Agrawal, I wish you luck too. So we will definitely see what happens. Mr. President.
Excuse me, that's my line.
Okay.
You don't get to say we'll see what happens.
All right, I take it back. We won't see what happens.
No, we will, but I will say that.
Okay. Mr. President.
Excuse me.
Yes.
We'll see what happens.
Good. Indeed, we will. There are two trials going on right now. One's about to start. One has started already. I want your opinions on these trials. One of these people you allegedly know and have had a relationship with.
You ever had a tribulation? You ever heard this phrase where they say trials and tribulations?
Yes.
We don't have enough tribulations.
We should put more tribulations in our society.
We have all these trials. What about the tribulations? Where the hell are they? Where do they go?
I'm surprised you said that word correctly, Mr. President. That was very, very good of you.
I nailed pre-com Agarwal's name, so I'm pretty good with letters and words.
Ghislaine Maxwell, her trial has started. The great Jeffrey Epstein, Sir Jeffrey Epstein. Sorry, Sir Jeffrey Epstein.
You caught yourself, but you don't.
Yes.
We just were talking about the Eppies.
I know.
Which we
he's
didn't
great also, though. Isn't he great?
Which I guess we should explain to people. That's they're named after Sir Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes, the Eppie Awards are named after Sir Jeffrey Epstein and his assistant or girlfriend or she would find.
Yeah, no, I
scout.
Can
She's a scout.
I was there. I can tell you what she did. She basically she would bring in the teenage assistants and the massage women and the Girl Scouts and the and she was in charge of buying the Capri Sun and
she would go on juice runs.
And also I get emotional thinking about Sir Jeff Epstein. She would make sure we had, the right Barney tapes and the right Raffi music.
Sounds like a great assistant.
Just to make sure all the young, we call them young women, and they brought their lunch boxes, and I said, oh, they make this, remember I said they were fifth grade teachers, I think, if I heard it correctly.
Yes.
Not all of them looked like they'd gone to college. They looked a little young, but she was in charge of making sure we had the snacks and the right music and programming. And she was a jack off of all trades.
Now, what is your prediction for this trial? Kyle Rittenhouse innocent. What do you think is going to happen to Ghislaine Maxwell?
I think we got lucky with Kyle, if I'm being
Mm,
honest, because as I said, this radical left justice system is so prejudiced against great people and white people. So I think Ghislaine is going to have a tough time. And I'm not happy saying that because I know Jeffrey Epstein is looking down on her from heaven, probably enjoying a chocolate milk with some young girls in heaven, looking down and wishing her the best. But I don't think it's going to turn out that way. I think our justice system is so prejudiced and so hateful. It's a really hateful system towards great white people. So Ghislaine, who I don't know, I wish her the best. I hope it turns out, but I don't think I don't think we get lucky twice. I think we got lucky with Kyle, and I don't think Ghislaine is going to get. I think the luck has run out.
okay. If she is convicted and she's guilty, what is your ballpark figure for jail time?
Well, old enough to pee is old enough for me was an old Jeffrey Epstein saying,
Okay.
and I think she's probably looking at anywhere between 2 and 10 years in
Okay.
jail.
So you think she'll be out um, to make some money off of this?
Well, I'll pray for it very strongly with my strong Republican pastors.
Mhm.
We'll pray that she gets out and can put this ugliness behind her because it's so unfair. You know it. You know it's unfair. Anybody who's not a total radical left loser knows it's so unfair what they're doing to her.
Now, this next court case, very different. Do you remember Jesse Smollett?
This guy, if they don't give him lethal injection, they are, and this is what I'm talking about. He claimed supporters of me beat him up and put a noose around his neck and did all these things. He should be, and I'm not saying this even out of a mean thing. If we're going to have a country, somebody who makes up a story should be executed. Very simple. It's not.
Isn't that a little broad? Anyone who makes up a story should be killed?
Anyone who makes up a story about racism and their president should be killed. There's that more specific duck stuff.
Definitely more specific. I appreciate that.
So
So,
free Ghislaine and execute Jesse.
all right. I have one more story for you, Mr. President. I think you'd be flattered. And if you want to bring up the pictures right now, you can Google Lena Ruseva. It's Lena Ruseva. She's an artist, and she is called a pro-Trump painter. And all her paintings are you in different situations. Trump as Neptune, Trump as great leaders from different civilizations, Trump as the Dalai Lama, and your face is put to almost every great person in history. Do you see this art, and what are your thoughts on this?
Well, there's what's her name again?
Lena Ruseva.
Well, she seems like a lovely person. I like my. Is she hot? Have you seen? Is she a hot woman?
She's okay.
Not good enough. That's what I have to, I want to know if she's, I don't accept art from women that aren't tens.
Let me see Google images of her. They just showed the one picture in the newspaper, which they can pick an awful shot. Oh, you actually, Mr. President, you would really like her.
All right, you tell me your name. Let's spell it. We're going to do strong texting right now. This is the height of tech stuff guy.
Okay, it's Lena, Lena, and then in
All
Google
right.
click
Wait.
images, and they're painting.
Lena Dunham. Oh my
No,
Christ.
no,
Oh, okay.
Ruseva, Ruseva, and
Oh,
there's a
you
picture of
know, it's a
her.
good sign. She comes up quickly. That means she's, you know,
Googleable.
sort of, oh, whoa.
Are you looking at the
Tech,
one there in a red dress with the paintings of
tech
you behind her?
stuff. Okay. Tech stuff.
We need a new guest on the show.
We need a new guest. And oh, she's gonna have, let me tell you how hot she is. She looks like the type of woman who's one day gonna have a kid that I don't acknowledge.
That's how hot she is.
You know what this is? She's like a non-horse faced Stormy Daniels with art talent.
And
Not
all
that
her
I know,
paintings
not that
are
I
of
know. I
you.
don't know who Stormy Daniels is, but that, you know. Oh, she can, as the kids would say, she can get it. And by get it, I mean, even if she doesn't want to get it, she's going to get it.
I think we should try to book her for the show. What are your thoughts, Mr. President? Would you like to speak to her? She's from Russia.
Uh, honestly, I don't know if I really want to speak. I want to speak the language of love with her. How about that?
I understand that.
And if she doesn't speak that language, I'll speak the language of, well, you're going to get this anyway with her. Tech stuff.
You know a lot of languages.
Tech stuff. How the hell did you not lead with this? What the hell are you doing over there?
I was saving the best for last, Mr. President.
You get, well, but the problem is I already talked about Ivanka early in the show. So you know, let's just say I need to reload the presidential
Cannon.
jizz machine.
Okay. Cannon or jizz machine could work. Is she a potential for number 4?
A potential? All I'm saying is, you know how I feel about little Miss Boebert,
Mm-hmm.
but little Miss Boebert's going to have to go places maybe even she's never thought she'd go if she's going to beat out this Russian art slut.
Well, hopefully your people can get her down to Mar-a-Lago, and maybe she'll do a
Well,
private painting for you there.
like a,
Wink,
you know,
wink.
like a Titanic. You
Mm-hmm.
know, remember, like, oh, I want, instead of me painting her naked, I will use my giant Cheeto as a paintbrush and her face as a canvas, and I'm going to call it Russian glazed donut.
It's very romantic, Mr. President.
And Celine Dion can sing in the background. My cock does come on your face. That was this. Remember that song? Remember
I don't remember those lyrics, but I do remember that the
no,
tune.
she sang that in Titanic, and it was very romantic.
Well, Mr. President, I'm glad I found someone, a new woman for your radar, and that's Lena Ruseva. And listeners, Google her, check out her beautiful paintings of Mr. President. Mr. President, appreciate you spending another week with us. And next week, we're going to do the bonus episode as well. And the
We just
Effies
got to
are right
make
around the
sure,
corner.
excuse me, we got to make
Yes.
sure that Mike Pence doesn't buy this painting of me, like with my shirt off on top of a bear.
Of the bear. I saw that one. I know.
Oh, boy.
That's a nice one.
Look at this. Let me tell you something. She looks like the type who might be able to pull off some Ivanka role play.
She might be. She's blonde. She's tall. She's got curves.
All right. Well, you know what? I don't even know if I want to. I might have to leave this episode early.
Well, we're ending it right now. Um, Everyone, look out on the social media at Trump Pod for all news concerning the Eppies, categories, voting, um, recommendations, and join the Patreon. We had a bunch of people join this past week, I think, because of the rumors of the Eppies coming up, which is true. Patreon.com/MPGA. Binge yourself on that. Patreon.com/MPGA. Also, everyone who's checked out my special, I appreciated all the kind words. And if you haven't, check it out. It's Something from Nothing. You can get it on Amazon if you're international, get it on Vimeo, get on Xbox, YouTube. It's called Something from Nothing. And this weekend, if you are in the Harrisburg, Pennsylvania area, I will be at the Comedy Zone in Harrisburg, PA. That's December 3rd and 4th, Friday and Saturday. Mr. President, the floor is yours.
I was just direct messaging Putin telling him, can you threaten to throw this blonde painter in the gulag unless she gets on my goo knob? Hey, everybody, it's JL. Thanks for listening. Be sure to give us, if you haven't, be sure to give us a 5-star review on iTunes. Obviously, there's ways to support the show. We encourage you to join the Patreon. And also, nobody ever takes me seriously on this, but I want to see more retweets of the show. I'm not demanding it, but if you really like the show, sharing it is the main way we're going to keep growing. So if you enjoy a particular episode or the show, Wednesdays would be a great time to just let your friends know on Facebook or Twitter, hey, check this show out. This episode was hilarious. So
we're halfway to KKK on iTunes.
Right. We got 1.5, 6 ratings. So let's get to, we should be able to get to 2K for without question. I mean, let me put it this way. We have way more than 3K listeners. So come on. But anyway, join the Patreon. It's awesome. If you can't do that, join, just give us a nice review on iTunes and
subscribe on YouTube.
Yeah, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can see us cracking up while we're doing the episode. And other than that, please check out my other podcast as well, Righteous PK. Every link to get me is on jlcomedy.com. And I got a bunch of shows coming up. Pittsburgh, DC, Harrisburg, PA, Chicago, San Jose, LA. So get your tickets to those sooner rather than later. Check out my other podcast and just spread the word about this show, please. I'm amazed that it's still going strong, and we thank you for that. But, we'd like it to keep growing, not just sort of be stagnant at a nice place. And just today, if you're still listening to this, just today, a fan said on Twitter that he was laughing hysterically, he had tears in his eyes, and he was apologizing for taking so long to try the show. And that's what that's what I'm talking about. Now we have a real fan who's going to go back and subscribe and all that. But it's the more you guys can share the show, the better it is. And that costs nothing. Assuming you're a fan, you're not there to be our PR, but if you're a fan of the show, that's some of the biggest podcasts I've listened to and appeared on started because friends kept telling me, oh, I think you'd like this. And I ignored it a couple of times. And then I finally was okay, I'll listen. And then I became, a 7-year listener of a show because, my friends sometimes have the same taste as me. And I'm sure you're the same with your friends. So sorry for the long announcement, but, we're proud of this show. We're proud to have you as fans, and we'd love to just keep growing it. So whatever you can do to help, whether it's Patreon or reviews or just, sharing an episode this week on social media, all of it helps. So thank you, everybody, and God help us all.